3 weeks ago, off the coast of Norway, every whale vanished. Not just a few, all of them. Within hours, they fled into the open Atlantic in a panic. Norwegian marine biologists were baffled. Then came the second clue. Coastal seismographs detected a vibration. Deep, constant, mechanical. Something massive was moving underwater, something nature could not create. NATO surveillance went on quiet alert. A Russian submarine had departed from Murmansk. But not just any submarine. The longest submarine in the world. 184 meters of pure steel. And in its belly, 6 torpedoes that are not normal torpedoes. Each one is 24 meters long, the size of a city bus, powered by its own nuclear reactor, guided by artificial intelligence, capable of traveling 10,000 kilometers underwater, and armed with a warhead that can generate a 500-meter-high radioactive tsunami wave. This isn't science fiction. This is the Belgorod, Russia's newest submarine, and its weapon is named Poseidon, after the god of seas and earthquakes. A weapon that doesn't bomb coastal cities. It drowns them in a wave of irradiated water that makes all life impossible for centuries. London, New York, Los Angeles, Hamburg, every coastal city on Earth is suddenly within reach of a weapon for which there is no defense. Today, we unveil Russia's ultimate retaliatory weapon, a system so apocalyptic that even hardened military analysts call it a doomsday weapon. We will show you how a torpedo with its own nuclear reactor works, why NATO has no answer, and why this single weapon changes naval warfare forever. Because when your enemy can erase your cities with artificial tsunamis, what's left of traditional war? Act 1. The Belgorod, the world's largest submarine. The K-329 Belgorod is not a normal submarine. At 184 meters, it is the longest submarine ever built, longer than 2 Airbus A380s. 30,000 tons of displacement when submerged. To put that in perspective, Germany's Type 212 submarines, 1,800 tons. The Belgorod is 17 times heavier. But size alone doesn't make a superweapon. What makes the Belgorod special is its mission. Officially, it's a research submarine for deep-sea projects. The reality? It is the first dedicated carrier for the Poseidon torpedoes, Russia's answer to American missile defense. Because while the U.S. invests billions in systems to intercept ballistic missiles from the sky, Poseidon comes from below, from the sea, unseen, unstoppable. The design is based on the Oscar II class, but was lengthened by 30 meters. This extra space houses 6 Poseidon torpedoes in special launch tubes, each 2 meters in diameter, 4 times larger than normal torpedo tubes. But why so large? The answer is coming, and it will shock you. The submarine can operate at depths of over 500 meters, deeper than most submarines can go. At this depth, it's virtually undetectable. Sonar barely functions. Satellites can't see that deep. It operates in a zone where it is practically invulnerable. But that's just the beginning. In the next section, I'll show you why even American admirals admit we have no answer to this. Act 2. The Poseidon, the autonomous nuclear torpedo. Status 6, Canyon, Poseidon, different names for the same weapon. Officially, 2M39 Poseidon. Unofficially, the craziest weapon ever built. 24 meters long, 2 meters in diameter, 100 tons. This is not a torpedo. This is an unmanned nuclear submarine in torpedo form. Normal torpedoes use batteries and run out of fuel after a few kilometers. Poseidon has its own miniaturized nuclear reactor. This gives it practically unlimited range, 10,000 kilometers. It could launch from the Arctic, travel under the Atlantic, circle South America, and approach Los Angeles from the south, a route no one would expect. Its speed is just as terrifying. over 100 knots. That's 185 kilometers per hour, underwater. Poseidon is twice as fast as any interceptor torpedo. It also operates at depths of over 1,000 meters, deeper than any manned submarine can go. It uses the deep ocean as its shield. Okay, so far we've talked about the carrier system, but what you're about to hear now is the reason Western governments want to keep this information secret. The next 90 seconds will explain how a single torpedo can make an entire coastline uninhabitable, and why there is no defense. Stay tuned, this is critical. Poseidon carries a thermonuclear warhead. The estimated yield, 2 to 100 megatons, 6,000 times more powerful than the Hiroshima bomb. But Poseidon doesn't detonate over a city. It detonates underwater, just off the coast. What happens next is what physicists call an artificial tsunami. The explosion displaces billions of tons of water. A 500-meter-high wave races toward the shore. But it's not just water, it's radioactively contaminated water. Cobalt-60 in the warhead ensures that anything the wave touches remains irradiated for centuries. A Scilly isn't just destroyed, it's erased. If you want to learn more about world-changing weapons, subscribe now and hit the bell, because what comes next is even more frightening. Act 3. The Impossible Defense. The NATO alliance has the best anti-submarine system in the world, SOSUS, a network of underwater microphones. But Poseidon isn't a submarine. It's smaller, quieter, and can travel below the thermocline, a layer that reflects sonar. There, it becomes invisible. It travels slowly, silently, at 20 knots. Its nuclear reactor can run for years. It's in no hurry. It reaches the coast, but it doesn't attack. The onboard AI waits for a storm, for a crisis. And then, without warning, it accelerates to 100 knots. The final 100 kilometers in 30 minutes. No time to react. Countermeasures. Interceptor torpedoes? Too slow. Deep-sea mines? Poseidon's AI can navigate around them. Submarine nets? It will cut through them. A defensive nuclear explosion? That would irradiate your own coastline. It's a checkmate scenario. Every defense is either useless or self-destructive. But the true power of Poseidon isn't just its destructive force. It's something far more insidious. Act 4. The New Doctrine of Terror. Poseidon changes everything. It turns the ocean itself into a weapon. Aircraft carrier strike groups, the backbone of American power, become vulnerable. A single Poseidon could eliminate an entire carrier group. Naval bases, perfect targets, Norfolk, Pearl Harbor, San Diego, all within reach of a weapon for which there is no defense. Russia has never hidden Poseidon's development. They released videos. It's deterrence through terror, and it works. Remember the uncertainty from the beginning? Was it an attack, an accident, a terrorist act? A Poseidon strike leaves no missile trail, no satellite warning, just an explosion. This creates paralysis. And here's the part Western media ignores. Poseidon is a retaliatory weapon. Russian doctrine is clear. Nuclear weapons are only used if the existence of the Russian state is threatened. Poseidon is the guarantee that such an attack is suicide. There are even rumors of more extreme versions, a Poseidon that doesn't explode, but waits on the seafloor for years, a sleeper agent waiting for a signal, or worse, an eponymous Poseidon, programmed to retaliate automatically if Russia is decapitated. The ultimate dead-hand weapon. Conclusion: the Belgorod and Poseidon are more than just weapons. They are a reinvention of war, a demonstration that Russia is willing to cross lines others dare not. The whales off the coast of Norway were right to flee. They sensed what was coming. A new era where the oceans don't separate, they threaten. Where every coast is a front line. What do you think? Is Poseidon the ultimate deterrent or the beginning of the end? Could the West ever develop a defense? And how does this weapon change the global balance of power? Leave your thoughts in the comments.